Forget everything you thought you knew about mythical power. Today, we're pitting the brute force of the Minotaur against the multi-headed terror of Cerberus. One is a labyrinthine nightmare, the other a gatekeeper of hell, who possesses the ultimate advantage. Prepare to have your assumptions shattered as we dissect this epic hypothetical battle. Welcome back, mythology fans, to the Nightforge. Today we're diving deep into a clash of titans that has been debated in whispers for centuries. In one corner, we have the Minotaur, the monstrous offspring of Queen Persephone, and the Cretan bull, a creature with the body of a man and the head of a bull. Cursed from birth, he was imprisoned within the inescapable labyrinth, a maze so complex that even its creator, Daedalus, could barely navigate it. The Minotaur isn't just a monster, he's a symbol of rage, isolation, and raw untamed power. His entire existence was a cycle of waiting, hunting, and killing the Athenian youths and maidens sent as tribute. This isn't just a beast, it's a warrior honed by confinement and fury. And in the other corner we have Cerberus, the Hound of Hades. This isn't your average guard dog. We're talking about a monstrous multi-headed canine whose job is to prevent the dead from leaving the underworld. Descriptions vary, but most accounts agree on at least 3 heads, each with a mind of its own, a mane of writhing snakes, and a serpent for a tail. Born from the union of Typhon and Echidna, 2 of the most fearsome monsters in Greek mythology, Cerberus is pure, primordial terror. He's not just a god, he's a living, breathing, inescapable barrier between the realms of the living and the dead. So, the stage is set, but where does this epic battle take place? The location is everything. If Cerberus was somehow lured into the labyrinth, the fight would look very different than if the Minotaur descended into the underworld. Let's first imagine the battle on neutral ground, a place where neither has a distinct home field advantage. Picture a desolate, rocky plain, a space where skill and power are all that matter. Let's break down their arsenals. First, the Minotaur. His primary weapons are his immense physical strength and his ferocious bull-like charge. Imagine the force of a half-ton bull moving at full speed, channeled into a bipedal form. He's strong enough to tear humans apart with his bare hands. Then there are his horns. These aren't just for show, they're deadly, sharp weapons capable of goring and piercing even the toughest hides. The Minotaur is also surprisingly cunning. He's a hunter, an apex predator within his own domain. He knows how to use his environment, how to lay traps, and how to strike from the shadows. His rage is his fuel, giving him a relentless, almost inexhaustible stamina in a fight. He doesn't back down, he doesn't know how. Now for Cerberus, his greatest asset is multiplicity. 3 heads mean 3 sets of jaws, 3 sets of razor-sharp teeth, and a 360-degree field of vision. It's incredibly difficult to flank or surprise him. While one head is biting and tearing, the other 2 can be watching for openings or defending against attacks. This makes him a defensive and offensive nightmare simultaneously. Then there's his venomous nature. Some myths say his bite is poisonous, and let's not forget the mane of snakes, each one capable of delivering its own toxic strike. And that serpent tail, another weapon ready to whip and bite. Cerberus isn't just a physical threat, he's a biological weapon. He's also a divine beast, a guardian of the god's domain, which suggests a level of durability far beyond that of a mortal creature. He has faced heroes like Heracles and lived to tell the tale. So, the bell rings, and the fight begins. The Minotaur would likely open with his signature move, a powerful, head-down charge. He'd aim to impale one of Cerberus's heads on his horns, hoping to disable a third of his opponent's offensive capability right from the start. This is a higher risk, higher reward strategy. If it connects, it could be a game changer. But Cerberus is no stationary target. With 3 brains processing information, his reaction time would be phenomenal. He could easily sidestep the charge, with one head snapping at the Minotaur's exposed flank as he rushes past, while the other 2 prepare for a counterattack. The Minotaur, being a brawler, would try to get in close, to use his brute strength to wrestle and overpower Cerberus. He'd try to grab one of the necks, maybe break it. But this is where Cerberus's design is so brilliant. Trying to grapple with Cerberus is like trying to hug a blender. For every one of the Minotaur's arms, there are 3 sets of jaws snapping back. The Minotaur might land a powerful blow, stunning one head, but the other 2 would be on him instantly, tearing at his flesh, their venom seeping into his system. The snakes in his mane would be a constant, nagging threat, striking at his face and eyes. This becomes a battle of attrition. Can the Minotaur's raw power and rage-fueled endurance outlast the multi-pronged venomous assault of Cerberus? The Minotaur is used to fighting in confined spaces, using walls to his advantage. In an open field, he's more exposed. Cerberus, on the other hand, is a guardian. He's used to dealing with all manner of threats, from desperate souls to demigods. His fighting style is likely more reactive and defensive, but no less deadly. The Minotaur's biggest weakness here is that he has a singular target with a singular focus. He attacks what's in front of him. Cerberus attacks from 3 angles at once. The Minotaur might be stronger pound for pound, but he can't be everywhere at once. He blocks a bite from the left, and gets bitten from the right. He tries to stomp on the serpent tail, and the central head lunges for his throat. The sheer sensory overload would be overwhelming for any single combatant. Now let's change the scenery. What if the fight takes place in the labyrinth? This is the Minotaur's world. The narrow corridors would nullify Cerberus's size advantage and mobility. The tight turns and dead ends would be a nightmare for a large, 3-headed creature. The Minotaur knows every inch of this maze. He can use the darkness, the acoustics, the very architecture as a weapon. He could lead Cerberus into a dead end, trapping him, or use hit-and-run tactics, striking from hidden alcoves and disappearing back into the shadows before Cerberus's 3 heads can even coordinate a response. In the labyrinth, the Minotaur's cunning comes to the forefront. He wouldn't engage in a direct brawl. He would play a terrifying game of cat and mouse. He could cause a cave-in to separate the heads or wound the beast. Here Cerberus's multiple heads might become a liability, getting in each other's way in the cramped space. The Minotaur could focus on attacking 1 head at a time, using the labyrinth's geometry to protect himself from the other 2. In this scenario, the tide turns dramatically in the Minotaur's favor. He's no longer just a brute, he's a strategic predator in his own hunting ground. But what about the ultimate home field advantage? The gates of the Underworld. Here, Cerberus is at the peak of his power. This is his post, his purpose. He is empowered by the very essence of the realm he guards. The Minotaur, a creature of the living world, would be an intruder. He would likely be weakened, disoriented by the oppressive, soul-draining atmosphere of Hades. The ground itself might be hostile to him. Cerberus, on the other hand, would be emboldened. He's not just a monster here. He's an extension of the Underworld's will. At the gates of hell, Cerberus would be fighting with the full weight of his divine duty behind him. Any advantages the Minotaur had in terms of raw physical power would be negated by the supernatural environment. Cerberus has repelled heroes and demigods from this very spot. The Minotaur, for all his ferocity, is fundamentally a mortal monster. In the Underworld, he's out of his league. The fight would likely be swift and brutal, with Cerberus overwhelming the disoriented Minotaur, not just with his physical attacks, but with the sheer metaphysical power of his domain. So who wins? It all comes down to where they fight. On neutral ground, I have to give a slight edge to Cerberus. His multiple heads and venomous attacks provide too many advantages against a singular physical brawler like the Minotaur. The ability to attack and defend from multiple angles simultaneously is a tactical advantage that raw strength just can't overcome. In the labyrinth, however, the Minotaur is king. He transforms from a simple monster into a master tactician, using his environment to dismantle the more powerful beasts piece by piece. His knowledge of the terrain would be the ultimate weapon, turning Cerberus's strengths into weaknesses. And at the gates of the Underworld, it's not even a contest. Cerberus is practically a force of nature in his own realm, and the Minotaur would be little more than another trespasser to be swiftly and mercilessly put down. Ultimately, if we're talking about a one-on-one fight on a level playing field, Cerberus's unique biology and multiple attack vectors give him the win more often than not. The Minotaur's fury is legendary, but Cerberus is a tactical nightmare, a perfectly evolved guardian. The Labyrinth's fury is potent, but the Hound of Hades is a divine terror that even heroes fear to face. What do you think? Did I get it right? Who would you bet on in this mythical showdown? Let me know your reasoning in the comments below. I love reading your theories and breakdowns. If you enjoyed this mythological matchup, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more clashes of legendary beasts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.